You know, every year, my friends, I'm struck by the irony of this gospel and then what we do when we gather on Ash Wednesday, right? Because the gospel says, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites. They neglect their appearance. Wash your head and your hands and your face, and don't appear to be fasting, for the Father who sees what is hidden will reward you. And yet we go ahead and we bless ourselves with these big old glob of ashes, and then we walk out, and everybody knows that we've been to get ashes, right? It's like, what is this about? Why does the church have us do this? And why do we do it, even as a people? Come on, we're adults. I think there's three reasons. I'm going to explore three reasons with us. First, I think the very first reason that we do it is to remind us, not that we're bad, not that we're junk, but that we're holy dust. That you and I, literally, you and I are made out of the same dust as all of our ancestors. That we're holy, the holy dust of God, if you will. If you even remember in the story in Genesis where God forms the dust of the clay and breathes into the dust. And from that we're born. I really believe that this season, in doing what we're doing tonight, blessing ourselves with those ashes, is a reminder that we are indeed holy dust. The second thing, I think, is that it reminds us that you and I are mortal, right? We are going to be dust once again. My Native American friends inside, they even refer to the rocks that they use to heat in their sweat lodge as the grandfathers, because they realize that the only way that those rocks were ever given was because it's the life of somebody else that went before them, right? That we are really all a part of that, and that we're mortal, and we're only going to be here for a limited time and in a limited space, and yet, like the dust, what we hold is unlimited potential. And third and finally, I would say the reason that we do this, the reason we mark ourselves, is to remind ourselves that you and I are indeed broken, right? We're broken and redeemed, both broken and redeemed. We stand as a sinful people before ourselves and before our God and before one another, and we say, listen, I'm sorry, and I'll continue to try to be better, and I'll live as the best human being I can possibly be, knowing that I too will fail once again. We are broken and redeemed. I can tell you, growing up in this particular season, it really felt like a season of shame. If y'all might not have been, some of y'all not been around, but we used to cover everything in purple, like all the statues and everything. It was like the dreariest thing. There was no holy water. There was it was like a desert, right? And it felt like every time you walked into Mass, you were this bad person. It felt very shame-based. And what I did as I studied more and more, I came to realize that it isn't really a season of shame at all. It really is a season of gratitude. It's a season of gratitude. In fact, I would say intense gratitude. 40 days of intense gratitude. Gratitude that we stop long enough in our journey to remind ourselves how much we are loved by God and how much we are loved by others and the countless blessings that we encounter every day of our lives. And gratitude for the challenges and the heartaches, both that we've experienced and those that we've given. I don't know what spiritual practices you plan on doing these 40 days. I don't know what many of you have done in the past or intend to do in the future. Maybe it's give something up. Maybe it's do something less or do something more. I don't know what you're going to do with these 40 days. I encourage you to do something. But I do offer you tonight this challenge and this invitation. I'm going to invite us all, even on top of whatever practice you're already doing, I invite us all to consider making these next 40 days into 40 days of random acts of kindness, right? So you can even miss a day because then you can do 2 on one day. So you make it up and you don't have to feel guilty about it. So you can give up on the guilt thing. But 40 days of random acts of kindness. I absolutely and utterly, completely believe that you and I are marked with that sign of the cross, not to remind ourselves of shame, but to remind us that we can change the world and we are sent to do that. We have a purpose, and that purpose is to spread God's love, and that is the intention of these 40 days, to make sure that we do that as best as possible. We can create a world for which hope is possible if only you and I choose to, right? If we choose to. One author, his name is Martin Shanahan, he said, if we do one random act of kindness daily, we might set the whole world in a new direction. Isn't that an amazing thought? And we've got nothing to lose. 40 days, 40 random acts of kindness, and if we do it, we might actually change the trajectory of the world. One of my favorite authors, Ron Rolheiser, he said this in his book. He wrote this, it's an awesome book, Against the Infinite Horizon is what it's called. He says this, to be a saint is to be motivated by gratitude, nothing more and nothing less. Isn't that awesome? To be a saint in this world today is to be motivated by gratitude, nothing more and nothing less. And the fastest way to gratitude is through random acts of kindness done for someone else. We really can change the world if we choose to.